If you're planning to buy or sell a home here in Metro Detroit and you think an all-cash offer sounds simple, you might want to sit down. Because starting March 1st, 2026, a brand new federal rule is going to change how certain cash deals work. And it could directly impact how fast you close and what information you need to provide. This is not a small update. This is a nationwide rule designed to bring transparency to cash purchases made through LLCs and trusts. So, if you're selling your home or planning to buy using a company or a trust, this affects you. So let's break it down in plain, simple English. In the next few minutes, you'll know which cash deals will require federal reporting, what information buyers will have to disclose, how this affects LLCs, trust, and estate planning setups, how it may change your closing timeline, and what sellers should expect when a cash buyer shows up. My goal is to help you feel prepared, confident, and fully informed. The U.S. Treasury is rolling out this new FinCEN residential real estate rule. Here's the quick version. If a home is being bought in cash by an LLC or a trust, someone involved in the closing will now be required to file a new federal report called the Real Estate Report. This includes houses, condos, co-ops, duplexes, triplexes, 4 units, and even empty land, if it's intended for residential use. For years, certain buyers have used LLCs and trusts to hide who they really are when paying for cash properties. And federal investigators discovered about 42% of these anonymous purchasers were tied to other suspicious financial activities. So now, the goal is simple: remove the secrecy and make real estate safer and more transparent. Here's exactly how this might show up in our market. Example 1. A Royal Oak seller. If you're selling your home for $475,000, a cash buyer comes in using an LLC, that buyer will now need to disclose who is actually behind that LLC. The closing agent will file the federal report. Example 2, a Grosse Pointe buyer. You're buying your home using a family trust. If you're paying all cash, your trustees and certain beneficiaries will need to be identified in the report. Example 3, a Detroit buyer. You buy a duplex in cash under your personal name. There's no report required because the rule only applies to entities and trusts. Example number 4, a Birmingham seller. A cash buyer approaches you, but part of the deal is financed and part is cash. If the cash portion isn't supported by a regulated lender, it may still trigger reporting. So, what will buyers have to disclose if they're using an LLC or a trust? Just the basics: name, address, date of birth, ID number, like a license or a passport. And for trust, the trustee, certain beneficiaries, the person who created the trust, if they still control it. Put simply, the government wants to know which real person is actually buying the home. If you're selling, here's what changes for you. You may see more buyers using their personal names instead of LLCs or trusts to avoid the reporting process. Title companies and closing agents may need a little more time to gather information. You'll know more about who your true buyer is, even if they're purchasing through an entity. But the most important part, there is no penalty on you as the seller. You're not the one reporting, and you're not responsible for gathering documents. You simply may need to allow for slightly longer closing window for certain cash buyers. If you plan on buying with a brand new LLC, a family trust, an estate planning structure, or any type of company, you'll now have to disclose the actual human owners behind the entity. This is similar to opening a bank account through an LLC. It's a transparency check, not a tax issue, and not public record. Most Metro Detroit closings won't feel drastically different. But if you're an LLC or a trust buyer, expect a few extra forms, a need to verify your identity, the closing agent asking for details about who owns the entity, and possibly an additional 1 to 3 days needed for a closing timeline. Nothing scary, just more documentation. Here's the bottom line. If you're buying in cash using an LLC or trust, this new rule affects you. If you're selling, there's nothing you need to do, but you should understand how this may change timelines and documentation for your buyer that they must provide. If you're planning to buy or sell a home anywhere in Metro Detroit and you want help navigating these new rules, I've got you. My job is to guide you, educate you, and make sure you feel confident every step of the way. So, whether you're paying cash, selling your first home, or using an LLC or a trust, reach out anytime. I'm here to make the process as smooth and transparent as possible. You can visit my website at leslieemartin.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at LeslieEMartinDTW. I'm Leslie Martin, and I look forward to helping you make your next move.